Kiki's Delivery Service. Chapter 1. Bells in the Treetops. Between the deep forests and the gentle green hills was a town with roofs the color of toasted bread. It had a train station, a town hall, a police station, a fire station, and a school. It could have been a little town anywhere, and yet, when you looked very carefully, you could see something that wasn't ordinary at all. Silver bells hung from the tops of the tallest trees in the town. Once in a while, these bells rang merrily, though there was not the slightest wind. When that happened, the townsfolk would glance at each other and laugh. There she goes again. Little Kiki is flying too low. How could a little person ring a bell atop a tall tree? This Kiki, you see, was not quite ordinary. The house where Kiki lived was over on the eastern edge of the town. On the gatepost facing the streets was a wooden sign that read, "Sneeze medicine available here." The green gate stood wide open. There was a large garden, and behind it on the left was a one-story house. The garden was planted with neat rows of rare herbs and medicinal plants, and through its foliage drifted the smell of pungent brews. The smell grew stronger near the house. It came from the kitchen. Well, a great copper pot was simmering on the stove. On the wall of the living room beyond the kitchen, well, in most houses you might see paintings or pictures, and two brooms, one large and one small, with whisks made of bundled twigs. From the living room came the sound of lively chatter and the clinking of teacups. "Kiki, have you decided when are you going?" came a woman's voice. "I think it's about time you told us. You can't just keep putting it off, you know. You've got to act grown up now." "There you go again. I wish you'd stop worrying and just leave it to me, mother," answered a girl's voice. "I am your daughter, and a good witch. I've got it all worked out, so don't worry." Now, Kokiri," came a man's voice. "You really should leave things up to Kiki. When she decides to go, she will go. It is no good to nag, you know." "Oh, I suppose you are right." The mother's voice was still full of worry. "I just can't relax. I feel responsible, you see." Kokiri was a full-blooded, bona fide witch, the descendant of a long line of witches. Her husband, Okino, was a scholar, a specialist in legends and folktales about witches and fairies. Their only child, 13-year-old Kiki, had reached the age when she would leave home and start life on her own. When a non-witch and a witch married and had a daughter, it was usual for the kid to be brought up as a witch. It was a custom for witches to have their daughters decide whether to pursue witchcraft around the time they turned 10. If a girl made up her mind to become a witch, their mother would begin to teach her the arts that had been passed down. At 13, a witch had to leave home and begin a new life on her own, picking a night when the full moon shone brightly. She would embark on a journey to look for a town or village where no witch already lived. There, she would find a home and a way of putting her witchcraft to good use. Of course, this was quite a big venture for a young girl. But witches' powers had dwindled, and their numbers had drastically decreased. So, it was necessary in order to prevent the extinction of their traditions. It was also a good way for people to learn that witches still existed and that they could be friendly and helpful. Kiki had decided to become a witch when she was 10. So her mother had started to teach her magic. First, there was the growing of medicinal herbs and the making of sneeze medicine. Second, there was how to fly on a broom. Kiki mastered the technique of flying very quickly. The problem was, she sometimes got to daydreaming and forgot to concentrate. Anything could distract her, like a pimple on the side of her nose. Or she would become absorbed in thought about something, like what to wear to a friend's birthday party. When that happens, the broom will suddenly begin to plunge downwards. Once, she was so self-conscious about her new lace windwell that she didn't notice the broom was descending and crashed into a telephone pole. The broom was broken into pieces, and Kiki got bumped and bruised all over. So, Kiki's mother had picked the tallest trees in the town and tied bears to their tips. If Kiki soared straight from her flying, and she got too low, her feet would strike one of these bells and startle her out of her daydreams. Recently, however, Kiki's flying had become quite expert, so the bells rang much less often. Making medicine, on the other hand, didn't really suit Kiki. You have to be patient to grow herbs, grind and dice the leaves and roots very finely, and wait while they slowly simmer in a pot. Kiki never did get very good at such things. "There goes another witch's craft, lost forever," Kiki would wail. Witches had once practiced many different kinds of magic, but over the centuries, one kind of witchcraft after another had been forgotten. It got to the point that even a genie witch like Kiki knew only 2 magical arts. No wonder it grieved her to see that Kiki took such a dislike to making herbal medicines. Kiki didn't understand what her mother was so upset about. "It's lots more fun to fly around than to stand in the kitchen stirring an old pot." Then Okino would comfort his wife. Now, it can't be helped. Maybe some of the forgotten magic will be discovered one of these days. And besides, there are always the black cats, aren't there? From long ago, witches and black cats had been inseparable. And in a way, these felines were a form of magic. Kiki had a little black cat of her own, named Gigi, just as her mother, Kiki, had old Meimei. When a witch gave birth to a girl, she searched for a black kitten born at just about the same time, and brought up the kitten with her daughter. Growing up close, the girl and the cat would learn to talk to each other. When the young witch left home to start her own life, her cat would accompany her, her best friends and closest confidants. When the girl grew up and found a partner, in other words, got married, the cat too would go off and pursue a life on its own.